This is my 1999 Audi A8 Quattro. I bought this about a year ago in November as a project car, and what a project this car ended up being. We ended up doing so much more to this car than we ever thought that we would have to. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and go ahead and check out my other videos so that you know or can see everything that we've done to this car up until this point. I do apologize that this car's super dirty. I'm probably going to sub in some clips from my previous review video on it. Today I just wanted to make a more concise or quick review video on the car for you guys. This car was really revolutionary at the time. It came out in 1997 and was the first production car to use an all aluminum subframe, body, and block or engine. Audi decided to do this to try and make a very light car. In fact, the lightest car of its all-wheel drive class at the time. The A8 was also the first all-wheel drive car ever to have electronic stability control, which really helped again with Audi's long pedigree of rally racing, but also the drivability and the luxury of this car back in the day. I have the Canadian or the cold weather model from Canada. I'll show you guys why that's different in another video, but that means that I've got the non-transparent solar roof, which powers blower motors up in the engine to keep the interior of the car cool on a hot day, or in other words, it tries to maintain the outside temperature on the interior of the car when it is very hot outside. Obviously they haven't been running lately because it's been super cold, but yeah, that's kind of a basic overview of this car. I'm going to talk about why I enjoy or love this car so much in the review video. Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Here we are once again in my 1999 Audi A8 project car. Today's kind of a bittersweet day for me. I'm finally getting this review out for you guys on the car, so it's a great day, and it's kind of a bitter day because the reason that I am doing it this morning is because I have an interested party in the car, and hopefully they're going to come and buy it from me today for cash. That would be super nice. It would kind of finally put my whole... It still does that. It would be kind of nice if they come and bought the car today, because it would put my whole mind at ease, as in I no longer have to worry about working on this car. And yeah, the project is finally done, and I'm probably not going to make money on it at this point. Driving in an old Audi A8 like this one, especially the Quattro version, means that you have more than enough power to get the job done. Even by today's standards, this car is pretty quick on the highway, and it is dang well powerful. Of course, the 4.2 liter V8 puts out 310 horsepower, and in the all-wheel drive model that translates down to 296 brake horsepower to the wheels. So it is quite quick, but that does come at the sacrifice of gas mileage, unfortunately. If I put my foot down in this car and I really get it going, I can drop this thing down to like 2 to 3 miles to the gallon, which significantly hurts my range, overall gas mileage, and my wallet in the end. This car gets an average of 12 miles to the gallon in the city and 26 miles to the gallon on the highway. Now, when I'm driving this car, I get about 11 miles to the gallon in town, but I have had it up to 15 miles to the gallon in town driving very, very conservatively. And on the highway, if I drive super, super conservatively, I can push it up to about 27 miles to the gallon. But that's the best that this car will ever do in any situation or circumstance. Check out my video coming soon of the road trip that I took driving this car from Wyoming all the way over here to Rexburg, Idaho. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to watch out for that. But in that video, I got 27 miles to the gallon on average. I was very pleased with myself. That's the best that this car's ever done. And in case you are wondering, it is a great car to take on road trips. Not only does it get 27 miles to the gallon for how big, bulky, and all-wheel drive behemoth it is, but it is also super comfortable and has a 22-gallon tank, so you can put about 500 miles on this car when driving conservatively. Now, if you do drive it in town almost all the time like I do, this is probably not your car, as you are only going to get about 300 miles of range out of the gas tank, out of 22 gallons of gas. And mind you that this car takes premium fuel, and which right now is at about $3 per gallon. So that's something to consider when buying one of these older 99 Audi A8s. And you might think that it's okay if I put 87 in it, but it's actually not. I have done that, but it makes the engine run terribly crappy, and so I would not recommend in the slightest that you put anything other than premium fuel in these old Audi A8s. Moving on here with driving, the all-wheel drive system in this car is absolutely amazing. It's probably the best all-wheel drive system or even traction control system that I have ever experienced. Now, I don't have a lot of experience driving a bunch of brand new or super new cars, but I can say that this car will give the new cars a run for its money when it comes with all-wheel drive and traction control. If you don't know, it is the same all-wheel drive or the same traction control system that is in the Lamborghinis, since all of this whole nonsense is made by Volkswagen. So it does make it very, very good. Now, cornering in this car, as you can see, tends to involve a lot of body roll. But when compared with American cars, especially American muscle cars of this same time frame, this car does really, really well when it comes to cornering. However, if you compare it to other European cars of the time frame, for example, a 1990s Saab, you're going to find that this car actually doesn't do that good when it comes to cornering or handling. It is very, very big, and it's very, very bulky, and you feel that a lot in the corners, even with the all-wheel drive. And even though this car is made out of all aluminum subframe, chassis, body, everything, it is so heavy when compared with other luxury cars of its era. And that has to do probably with the all-wheel drive system and its huge V8 engine. So that's also another trade-off between power and bulk and handling and gas mileage. Do I think that it's worth it in the end? Absolutely. I don't think that you're going to ever regret buying one of these cars as far as handling is concerned. And then as far as driving is concerned, the final kind of issue that I have with this car is actually its braking power. So because the car is so big and so bulky, stopping in this car is kind of scary. It doesn't actually feel like you're going to stop when you start to push on the brakes. It doesn't feel like you're slowing down. And no matter how long you drive this car, you will not get used to the fact that it feels like you're going to crash into whatever's in front of you when you're stopping. If I push on the brakes now, it doesn't feel like it's going to slow down, so you push harder and harder and harder and harder, and then the car downshifts and almost throws you into the dash, which is kind of inconvenient, to say the least. Just kind of to recap my driving segment here on this car, it is very sporty, very quick to drive, very powerful, but it is also very heavy. Stopping is scary, and there's a lot of body rolls around the corner, and it all comes at the sacrifice of horrible gas mileage and premium fuel, which means a lot of money out of your pocket simply to keep this car fueled up. Now I get to talk about my favorite features of my 1999 Audi A8, and that is the interior. All around, this car has an absolutely comfortable and amazing interior. In fact, I kind of wonder if you could ask for anything better from a European luxury car of the 90s or early 2000s even. This car is so dang comfortable, and honestly, it comes with a lot of the same features that we have today in modern cars. Of course, it is lacking things like Bluetooth, a heads-up display, or some of our newest features in that regard, but this car comes with 100% genuine leather interior, and on the seats, Everything in this car is power, from power windows to power seats, power mirrors, and even a rear sunshade that is automatic and power. There's 2 sunshades on the rear windows as well that you have to put up by hand, but that is a super cool feature to have that sunshade in the back, especially when driving at night. The rear view mirror is auto dimming, which is a super cool feature that really hadn't been around very long when it was put in this car. I also love the color scheme of this interior. I'm not big on fake wooden panels or plastic, but they look absolutely amazing in this black and tan interior. Everything in this car is very, very well put together. I actually credit Volkswagen a lot for the build quality of this interior. You're not going to find many cars that are 20 years old that have held up as well as these old Audi cars have. I'm not a big fan of the plastics and the rubbers that they used in the vacuum system or the engine bay and stuff like that. Go check out my other videos. But I am a huge fan of the build quality of the interior of this car. You're not going to get much better longevity or durability out of a car than you will with one of these older Audi cars or Volkswagens. I absolutely love the Bose surround sound stereo system that's in this car. It comes complete with mid-range speakers, tweeters, and two stock 10-inch subwoofers on the rear deck lid. It sounds absolutely amazing. They could come with the $5,000 option of heated seats, which my car unfortunately does not have. It has fog lights here in the center console and a rear defroster as well. So just a lot of features that most cars of this year or era simply did not have on them. It also comes with cruise control and timed wipers and an information display here in my instrument cluster that tells everything from fuel mileage to my average speed, range, and time of driving. Audi or Volkswagen also has a system to check their car or it runs it through its diagnostics to see if anything is wrong. Something else that I absolutely love about this car is how roomy the interior is. I'm not a big fan of cars because of how cramped they are, and besides the center console in this car has plenty of room to put stuff to, I guess, live in when you're on a long road trip. And it is just so roomy that it just adds to the comfort of this car. Now, being a big car, it also means that there is a lot of trunk space or a lot of room for groceries or luggage if you are taking a long trip, which is what I love so much about this car. I don't think that I've ever ran out of room to put anything in this car. Now, I have had all 4 of my snow tires in the trunk of this car before, and mind you that this car wears 17s and they're 235, so they are not small tires by any means. You will never run out of space in the trunk of this car, whether that is a trip to Walmart or a long trip on the highway with all of your luggage and a family of 5. This car definitely has the space for that. So, bottom line on this car, why would I buy one, or would I buy one today in 2019? Yes, in terms of drivability, I think this car is just as good as really any other car that's out there on the road. If you find one in really, really good condition, you're not really going to notice much of a difference between it and a newer or a brand new car. And I think that has to do with the fact that it's a 5-speed transmission, that it has auto manual, and that the engine is so dang powerful. However, you are going to be sacrificing gas mileage no matter which way you look at it. You're simply not ever going to be able to take a cheap trip in this car. Now, that begs to differ as why would you buy this versus something more fuel efficient and newer that's probably just as quick? And that's because this car has a uniqueness factor to it. There is nothing else like that or like this car on the road today. This is absolutely a unique gem of history. They didn't make very many of them. There aren't that many of them around. In fact, I think I've only ever seen one other one of these cars. But that would have to be the deciding factor of why I would buy this car in 2019 over something that's more fuel efficient and probably just as fast, that's newer. and probably just as comfortable. Really, really a lot of the newer cars are going to be just as comfortable as this old bird. But again, this is very big and actually very comfortable, so it goes without saying that if you want something exciting, then go ahead and buy this car. If you want something comfortable, fuel efficient, and fun to drive, then you could probably find something different. And with all of that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Comment below what you guys would like to see on the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already to stay tuned to all of my crazy car adventures. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you enjoy your Christmas break, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.